So do you like my top? I'm training for my old lady body. To be honest, I think I'm already there, but you know, I love the t-shirt. So there we go. Right, so let's get into it. Quick recap. So I've been doing the carnivore diet for 8 months now. I started on the 1st of February. I was kind of dieting from the 1st of January, but January I put down to just cutting out the crap, the processed stuff. But it was in February that I really started the carnivore diet and started to cut out all carbohydrates. And I did that from a position of desperation, basically. I was extremely overweight. I weighed 19 stones 3, so that was 287 pounds. I also have chronic fatigue syndrome, and at that point my illness was at the worst it had ever been. I was barely able to get out of bed. I'd have a shower and have to give up halfway through the shower and go back to bed, and that's on a day where I thought I was active. I was really desperate. I had a very poor quality of life. I was in bed for half of the week. I wasn't able to move. I was reacting to everything I was eating. It was not a good situation at all, but someone, actually a few people, were saying to me, you've got to try the carnivore diet. And to be honest, I wasn't on board. I was like, yeah, right, okay, I've tried about 1,000 other diets that didn't work. But at this point, I was really, really desperate, and I thought anything's worth a go. So I resolved to just do it for 30 days to see what happened. And actually those 30 days turned into 60 days, 90 days, etc., which you can see on the channel. I've done update videos as we go along. There is a playlist and I'll link it down below. So now we're 8 months in. I don't even know how many days that is. That's a substantial amount of the year now. I wouldn't say I've been perfect. I've been far, far, far from perfect, especially lately. I'm still here. I'm still hanging on, and we're still doing it. Let's talk about weight loss, because that's kind of the thing that most people are interested in terms of the carnivore diet, and then we'll talk about chronic illness. About a year ago, before I was on the carnivore diet, I actually lost about 20 pounds. At my very heaviest, I was 20.8 stones, which is 287 pounds. Then I went down to 19.3, which was at the point I started carnivore. And I start carnivore, the weight doesn't come off for the first month at all. The second month I lose 20 pounds. I'm like, yes, can I do this? Can I do this? Because I tried every diet under the sun to lose weight and I couldn't stick to anything. Then it tapered off again, and I was so despondent. I was like, I really, 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 really want to lose this weight. I was going through a separation with my husband, and I felt that if I could lose weight, it was going to give me the best opportunity for starting over. Because like it or not, people respond better if you're not really, really fat. And so that was my motivation, really. So I decided to incorporate OMAD 1 meal a day. And that was because I'd done some fasting, some 24-hour fasts here and there. And I felt amazing afterwards. And I also was losing quite a bit of weight when I was doing that. But then it was stalling again when I stopped. So what happened is I started OMAD. I was like, I'm just going to do it for 3 days, see how I get on. And I never stopped it again. Well, maybe intermittently, I've had the odd day here or there. For the main, I have stayed on it for the duration because the weight loss is so amazing on it. It's not easy to do, and I would say even now, having been on it for a while, it's still not easy to do. But there we have it. That's what I've been doing in terms of weight loss, and I am now 14 stones 3. So that is 5 stones lighter from when I started carnivore and 6.5 stones lighter than when I started weight loss last year. If I keep moving about, it's because I've got a damaged coccyx, so it's a little bit painful. Not painful, it's just uncomfortable. So I'd like to talk about self-image actually for a minute, because this is something that I haven't discussed on this channel yet, and maybe we could do a video all on its own for this. It is a video that I'd have to be really delicate about, but talking only about myself from my own perspective, so, you know, trigger warning if you like, don't take anything I'm saying as a reflection of you. It's just how my mind works for me. I certainly don't judge other people anywhere near as harshly as I judge myself. So as I was saying, I was really big when I started, and I have been big for about 10 years now. Many years ago, I lost 100 pounds in weight. That was probably 2011-ish. I lost that. And then I was slim for about 2 to 3 years. The weight started going on again about 2014, 2015, and I remained fat until I lost weight on the carnivore diet this year. So my identity had become that of a fat person. They always say, don't they, about our self-worth, our self-esteem, it needs to come from within, not from external sources. And I've never quite gotten that, because if you think back to when a baby is born, a baby relies on its caregivers, usually its mother and father. By the parents or the caregivers loving that child, the child then grows up with a really good sense of self-esteem. The baby does not get its self-esteem from inside. So I've never really understood this idea, because I do have low self-esteem, and I'd be rich. If I had £1 for every time someone said, you've got to get your validation from inside, not from outside. I understand that external validation is fleeting. Someone can validate you, but then if that person doesn't validate you again and again and again, it doesn't stay. I get that, I understand that, but by the same token, everyone gets validation from outside. They might have that inner belief in themselves, which came from growing up as a child, being in a secure situation, a safe situation, a situation where they were told every single day of their life how brilliant they are. That's where the internal validation comes from. I haven't had that internal validation as a baby, and so I don't have that inner confidence, that inner whatever. As someone who's also autistic, it's very difficult for me to build that up through my own means, through my internal validation. Some neurotypical advice is put yourself out of your comfort zone, do things that make you nervous, do stuff that is a challenge that you will overcome, keep promises to yourself. All this stuff is things that is going to help most people to grow their confidence. However, I've done that. I've travelled around the world on my own. I put myself on YouTube when I was scared stiff to do it. I've done so many different things that raise my confidence, or should raise my confidence, but it never ever fills that gap, that internal gap, if you like. If you have not had neglect in your life, then you won't know what I'm talking about, and thank God you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you have, I think you will understand where I'm coming from. So to bring that all back to my current situation, so I had this identity of a fat person because I was a fat person. People who are fat get a negative mindset and a negative self-image, not because they're fat, but because of other people's reactions to them being fat. If you're like constantly told you're fat, go on a diet, sometimes people don't say anything, but they just act differently around you if you're fat. All these things can help to give you a really bad self-image, because it's the opposite of that external validation that I'm talking about. It's like an anti-validation. You're not getting the validation. People are going out of their way to unvalidate you because you are fat, because like it or not, our society doesn't like fat people. So when you lose a lot of weight very suddenly, it can be very difficult to shift your mindset and shift your psychology around your body image at the speed at which you lose the weight. So for example, in the last 8 months, I've lost 90 pounds. But in my mind, I'm still a fat person. I look at my arms and I know technically I am still obese, only just. I think my BMI is 32 at the moment. And when you get to 29, you're no longer obese. So I am technically obese, but I look at my arms and I've got all the flab because, you know, loose skin and all that, which they should be a bit tighter. I just last night just started doing weight training, so hopefully that will help. To me, my arms now look exactly the same as when I was at my biggest. It's really, really weird, really weird. There are certain parts of me, like my shoulders and my stomach and my waist and my legs, I can see are a lot slimmer when I look in the mirror. But I don't feel slimmer. I can see I am because I'm looking in the viewfinder with like the little monitor. But day to day, when I'm not filming myself and I'm just going about my life, I'm just the same. I don't feel any different whatsoever to when I was at my biggest. The only times where I really feel different is when I'm doing some activity. So look, I'm more active, it doesn't wear me out so quickly, I can do more. In that way, I do feel different, but within myself, I just feel much the same, if I'm honest. And that really stalls, blocks, if you like, the mental health aspect of knowing that you're slimmer, knowing that you look better than you did. It really blocks it, and you have to do some work, and I'm not really sure what that work is. I'm hoping it just comes with time. And I had this same issue when I lost weight before. When I lost those 100 pounds back in the day, even when I was slim, I considered myself fat. I considered that other people were looking at me fat, as if I was fat, and I missed out on opportunities because of it. Some really good opportunities. Because I was like of the mindset, those people would not give me those opportunities because I'm fat. I'm going to put a picture up here now of me at that time so you can see how big I was. I wasn't big at all, and I was very slim. I was slimmer than I am now. I was about 12 stones then. I think the self-image, the psychological side of your self-image when you lose a lot of weight is really, really, really important. Because as I said, I lost weight to give myself more opportunities. But if I don't see myself in my new skin, if I don't see myself how other people are looking at me now, then I'm still going to lose out on those opportunities because I won't see them for what they are. When I take pictures of myself, because I always have to take pictures for thumbnails, so I take a lot of selfies. And sometimes when I'll go on a walk, I'll take a full body shot just to see where I'm at. And I look at it and I'm stunned, absolutely stunned at how slim I am. So that's just something for you to bear in mind if you yourself are going down the weight loss thing. If you do have issues around your self-image and how you look, and that's why you're doing this, I guess try to work on the self-image as you work on your actual physical weight loss. They're not two separate things, so you need to really work on both. So let's move on and talk about the actual diet. For me, the carnivore diet is basically beef, so I eat steaks and ribeye, and I have butter, unpasteurized butter. I have Celtic sea salt, I have eggs. I try to have organic eggs if I can, I react less to those. And what else? Cheese. Oh, I'm the biggest cheese fiend. From today, I'm cutting the cheese out. So where I've just moved, this is my new abode, I had to purchase a new fridge freezer, and that arrived the other day. That day was hell on earth, it really was. It was a day where I should have been in recovery, But I had my fridge and my washing machine turn up, and they were in boxes, and I was desperate for the washing machine because I had 2 weeks worth of clothes and I was running out of everything. Fridge I needed up and running because I needed to stock up because I was going to the shop every single day and it was wearing me out. So it was really paramount actually that I got those two things working as soon as possible. So once I got my fridge up and running, what I did is I went to the shop and I stocked up because I've been in this new place just over 2 weeks. Initially I really struggled with the carnivore diet when I moved. It's very stressful moving. I left my husband as well at that same time. I would say the first 3 days I was on, there was just no way to describe it a carnivore diet. There wasn't. There were like rice noodles that I had in the cupboard and I had a huge bowl of those one night. Interestingly, I haven't reacted to the carbohydrates anywhere near as badly as I have in the past. So actually maybe the carnivore diet has repaired my stomach somewhat. Then I got back on to OMAD and Carnivore, but as I say, I was going to the shop every day. That's good in a way because you are not actually keeping food in the home, so you're not going to eat when you just are bored or whatever. What happened is, like, I'd have a really bad day where I couldn't walk or anything if I'd overdone it, and then getting to the shop was a complete nightmare, and if I didn't go to the shop I didn't eat. So that was one of the reasons why I got the fridge freezer, because I was just like, I can't live without a fridge freezer. So once I got the fridge freezer, back on OMAD, back on eating carnivore properly, but then obviously I binged on the cheese and that. There was no way I was in ketosis. So I really think at this point it's just really important to get those carbs out of my system, to get into ketosis again, and then the cravings will absolutely stop. So moving forward, what we're going to be doing is I have another 30 pounds to lose to get to my first goal. My first goal is 12 stone because that is what I wanted. That's where I was before. So I had in my mind I needed to get back to there because it was just when I met my husband, I was at 12 stone. And then throughout the relationship, the weight piled on. Because of emotional things that I was not dealing with. That marriage has ended, and so it's like in my mind I want to cut it out like it didn't happen almost. And so this is my psychology. It's like if I get back to 12 stone what I was before I met him, that's like, yeah, I'm just me, I'm just carrying on with my life and living my best life. So that's what my plan is. I've got to get those last 30 pounds off before the end of the year. I want to do it, but if I don't do it before the end of the year, that's fine too. But it would just be, it would give me such a boost to do it before the end of the year. So leave me a comment down below and tell me you can do it. You can do it, because that's what I need to hear. So let's just talk about my chronic illness for a moment. I have ME, chronic fatigue syndrome. I also have autism, which isn't really a chronic illness, but I think it's important because there's a lot of like CFS, fibromyalgia type illnesses that are comorbid with autism. So I think the autism is relevant. If you haven't seen that video, do check it out after this one because it goes through my whole diagnosis journey, which you might find interesting. So when I first got on carnivore, my whole body was inflamed, completely inflamed. I'd wake up in the morning, my muscles would be sore in agony, I could barely move. It was horrible. My face was flushed red really bad. I had no energy, I was in pain constantly, I had the brain fog, depression, everything. As we went through, actually my depression got worse on the carnivore diet. I think that's worth mentioning because I don't think enough people talk about this. My depression got really bad throughout the first 4 months, I would say, on the diet, and then it started to lift. So if you are experiencing that, stick with it if you can. Not if it's dangerous for you, then don't. Go and see a doctor. But if you're managing it, then try and stick it out because it will get better. And I think also because I was going through a separation and I was still living with my husband, a lot of my depression was coming from that. The fibromyalgia type pain has completely gone. I don't have that whatsoever. The only pain I really have is in my coccyx if I sit down for too long. I've been sat here for a while. How long? 45 minutes. It's not too bad. It'll probably be worse when I stand up, but it's not too bad. The inflammation has gone. I have got makeup on. There is some very slight inflammation at the moment, but not anywhere near like what it was, considering my skin is very clear. My fatigue is much better than it was. As I said, I was barely able to sit up and have a shower. That's not an issue now. I'm a lot healthier in terms of my fatigue. But the one thing that hasn't fixed itself, which I really, really want it to, is the PEM, the post-exercise malaise. Now, one of my viewers did say she did a 36-hour fast, then ate beef only, and then did another 36-hour fast, and her post-exercise malaise disappeared for good. And she had MCAS, which I believe I've got. I'm trying to build myself up mentally to doing that kind of a fast because I don't think it's going to be easy remotely. I can do a 24-hour fast without thinking too much about it, but by that time I'm absolutely ravenous. So a 36-hour fast, it's gonna stretch me, but maybe I will do it because I really want this post-exercise malaise to go, because it really wrecks my life. Because if I do any activity, I've got to assign the next day to bed the whole day. And if I could get rid of that, I would gain half a week, essentially, in activity and be able to do so much more. And also, if I didn't have PEM, I would be able to actually exercise, properly exercise. And there is nothing in this world. I could be a millionaire. I could find a man who treated me like an angel. I could have the best body in the world. I could have a supermodel body. Nothing in the world could possibly please me more than getting rid of that PEM, because I would be healthy again without that. That's where we're at. If you have any tips for getting rid or reducing PEM, I have noticed since I've gone beef only, because I used to eat lamb as well, since I've gone beef only, my PEM sometimes is a bit shorter. So it might be, I might get my energy back at about 5 or 6 p.m. that next day, rather than the whole day being a wipeout. That's all I've got for you today. I hope this update was really helpful. If not helpful, I hope it was interesting to you. I am so grateful for you to be here, especially those of you who have stuck to the end. So don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, do all the things that really help me out. And if you would like to, I would love it if you could buy me a coffee. This channel is now monetized, yay. But the amount I get is very, very low. So anything you can supplement me with would be very helpful to keeping my channel running. I will catch you in the very next video. Bye for now.